Osama bin Laden was accidentally killed yesterday when the United States was trying to assassinate al-Qaeda's number 3 man. Good morning, this is Toad Vlogs, and this is the morning show, and I'm kidding about them trying to kill the number 3 man. The gist of it is the United States has supposedly been trying to kill bin Laden for 2 decades now, and they keep killing the number 3 man of al-Qaeda. So I jest. Osama bin Laden was killed in Pakistan yesterday, and I really do hope that the Americans made arrangements with the Pakistanis, because we've been trampling all over their, rights as a country. Yeah, Osama bin Laden is dead, and this is both good and bad, I suppose. I don't understand why, if they wanted to assassinate him, it took them 2 decades. Okay, a lot of people, know that they've been trying to kill bin Laden since 2001, but actually, they've been trying to assassinate him theoretically since long before that. He was responsible for the original bombing on the World Trade Center, and there's a lot of talk, there's conspiracy that Osama bin Laden, who used to work for the CIA, is still working for the CIA, and that he got thrown under the bus by the Americans in order to fulfill their agenda of bringing on new regulations to keep civil freedoms in the United States to a standstill, and to further their oil interests in the Middle East. Many people believe that 9/11 was an inside job, that the Americans were completely behind the attacks, and that Osama bin Laden was just the fall guy. I personally believe that the United States allowed the attacks to happen. That's what I believe. I believe that that's what the big, because there was a big, whether you want to call it a conspiracy, it's a conspiracy no matter what, because there's more than one person involved in setting up. If you believe the original story that a bunch of hijackers got together and took over some planes and crashed them into buildings, that is a conspiracy, okay? If you believe that the U.S. government had robo-planes that crashed into these buildings, that is a conspiracy. If you believe, as I do, that the Americans knew of this information and did nothing, that is still conspiracy. Now, I don't know whether or not they did nothing because they just didn't believe it was going to happen, didn't care. It's very clear that they did know that al-Qaeda was planning something, and that George Bush just ignored it. Now, why he ignored it, we don't know, because there's never been a real investigation into it. They spent less than $3 million on this hushed-up thing, and the committee that they set up to investigate it, which is ridiculous. It should not have been set up a committee. It should have been the Justice Department investigating it. But anyways, they set up this committee, and it was a whitewash. So I believe that. But bin Laden, was he responsible? I believe yes. However, I don't understand why it took them 2 decades to find a man who requires regular kidney dialysis to assassinate. Come on. I'm not buying that. Yeah, so I think they didn't want to find him for whatever reasons, and now, well, for whatever, because there's an election coming up in 2012, Barak Obama thought he would get some brownie points by taking him out, because they've known where he was since November, theoretically. This is what their story. They know where he was since November, and now both Barack Obama and George Bush have claimed this to be justice, and it's a great step forward for America, and blah, 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 blah. Justice, no. If they were serious about justice, they would have arrested him and put him on trial. Now, yes, I know that would involve risking the lives of many soldiers, and I'm not saying that that was the right thing to do. I'm just saying if that was what they were really after, was justice. But, let's not fool ourselves. That was not what they were after. They weren't after justice. They were after, scoring brownie points for the electorate. That's what they were after. That's the politicians were after. The soldiers, different. So, what can you say about this? This is going to raise the terrorist alert, of course, because we're all supposed to be scared of the terrorists. You know what? If they were scared of the terrorists are winning. That's not what we should be. We are the most powerful two countries, you know. They are not a threat, viable threat to our country. You know, whether it's United States, Canada, England, these al-Qaeda people are not a viable threat to the country. Individually, yes, okay. Will some people die because of this? Most likely. They just made the man a martyr. And there will be some wacko somewhere who carries forth an attack on Western people, whether it's Canadians, Americans, or, you know, somebody else, because of this. Now, is this going to be expected? Yeah. But should we be afraid because of this? No. Should we be more diligent, blah, 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 blah? Yes. But not to the point where the American government wants everybody to be afraid, because that way it's easier to pass all kinds of laws that they don't want you to look at. But, you know, we should not be afraid. Why should we be afraid of a couple guys hiding in caves that have some guns, bombs, and stuff? We could wipe out the entire world. Well, Canada can't. We don't have any nukes. But Americans can wipe out the entire world. And they're worried about some guys in some caves. No. You should not be afraid of terrorists. There's no reason whatsoever to be afraid of terrorists on a country basis. The country should not be afraid of terrorists. You know? And unfortunately, people are going to die. Yes. People are always going to die. And I mean, it'll be horrible for people who are involved in this. It's going to be horrible. 9/11 was a horrible event. But more people are killed in car accidents every single day than die in the 9/11 attacks. Every single day. More people die from car accidents in the Western world than was killed in the 9/11 attacks. Do you hear people freaking out about car accidents? No. If it touches you personally, yes. But we don't cower in our seats, hiding, you know, afraid to go on the road. So we should not be afraid of the terrorists. Because you know what? In the end, they have only the power that we give them. Yes, some people may die. But the big scheme of the thing is, whichever terrorist group attacks is going to be sorry. They're going to lose a lot more people. So, do not be afraid. Hey, press the subscribe button. It's easy.